Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For the next part of my declutter series, I am doing my face makeup products. As you can see, I've kind of divided them into sections. I've got my highlighters, my face powders, my concealers, my bronzers and my blushes. So I'm just going to run along the line and go through each one and let's see what we can get rid of. I will start with this e.l.f. illuminating palette, which I received as a free gift in my recent e.l.f. haul. And this is a really nice palette with a white highlighter, a pink highlighter, a kind of beige one, and then a warmer highlighter. I was going to keep hold of this, but I don't think that I'm probably going to reach for it very much, so I'm probably going to pass this on to a friend who will make better use out of it. Next we have this Barry M Illuminator Highlighter Palette, and this again has a white shade, a pink shade and then an orangey shade, and I just don't reach for this either. I don't know what it is about highlighter palettes, I just don't find myself reaching for them, so I'm going to pass this on as well because I've not used this an awful lot. There's nothing wrong with the quality of this at all. When I wear a highlighter, I do prefer to just go for a standard sort of goldy shimmery white highlighter, which I do have a better one of in my collection. Rather than keeping a palette, I might as well just keep the individual one. So I'm going to pass this on as well. Next we have that individual highlighter that I really love and I'm reaching for an awful lot at the moment, and this is the shimmer highlighting powder in the shade Starlight Glow, and this is, I think it's a new release from e.l.f., but I really like the formula of this. It is so creamy to the touch, and let me just, it is a really nice, I just ignore that swatch there. It's a really nice golden highlight and it is subtle but can be built up to look a bit brighter. So I'm definitely going to be keeping hold of this. Next we have this Revolution Baked Highlighter. I did really like this when I first bought it, but then after trying the e.l.f. one, I felt like I had to work a bit more with this one because it is the bake formula. You kind of feel like you have to scratch off the surface, but it is a very bright highlighter. I think I do prefer the slightly subtler one, so that's why I think I'm going to put this in the maybe pile for now, because I don't feel like I need two highlighters of the same shade, but having sort of swatched them next to each other, obviously one is a lot more brighter than the other, so I will keep hold of this in the maybe pile for now. And then next we have this, another baked highlighter, and this is a Pink Diamonds one. I had kept this in the packaging with the intention of passing it on, but after the fact that I am getting rid of two palettes which contain a pink highlighter and I won't actually have a pink highlighter, I think I'm going to keep hold of this one. What I will probably do is I'm just going to run through everything first, then I will go back and show you what I'm keeping and not keeping, rather than doing it section by section in that respect. I have this Bare Minerals foundation here just by itself, and the reason I wanted to mention this was, excuse how dirty it is, it's well used. I have got a backup of this here, which I think I am going to switch to soon, because I think I've probably had this open coming up to the 12-month mark, which is what is the recommended opening time for it. So I think I am going to switch to the new one, but I am wanting to actually try a liquid foundation. I don't think I've ever worn liquid foundation other than when I've had my makeup done by someone for an event or something like that, and I am a complete novice when it comes to liquid foundation. So if anyone can recommend preferably a drugstore foundation, because I don't want to buy an expensive one and then not like it. The reason I wear powder foundation instead of liquid foundation is because I never like the wet feeling on my face. So I am looking for something that's quite lightweight. I prefer a matte finish to a dewy finish. I think that's just from years of wearing the powder foundation. And I think medium coverage is probably best for me. so that it's not too heavy for my first sort of liquid foundation. So any recommendations would be greatly received. That's the reason why I had this here, just to remind me, but also technically I am getting rid of this so I can switch to my new one because this is a bit too old. Next on to concealers, and the first one we have is this Maybelline Instant Anti-Age Eraser Eye. I haven't actually opened this yet because I've been wanting to finish up another one before I open it, but I think I do need to open it and give it a go just in case I don't like it and then I've got no concealer to fall back on. So I think I will give this a go soon and see what it's like, because I have heard good things, so I'm definitely going to keep hold of that. Next is this Ellis Fast one that I received in, I think it was a Latest in Beauty box. I do keep reaching for it on the premise of just using it, but it's a brush applicator with a twist up, which I'm not a big fan of because you either have no product coming out of it or too much product. So I am kind of forcing myself to use this and I'm not really enjoying it, so I'm going to get rid of this one. Next we have the Barry M Flawless Light Reflecting Concealer. This is one of the staples of my everyday makeup collection, and this is actually in my project pan, which I'm not doing too badly on. I use this when I have blemishes more than anything else. I don't tend to use it for under the eyes or anything like that. So I think once this is gone, I don't think I am going to repurchase it because, touch wood, I'm not getting as many breakouts and blemishes as I used to. So I don't feel like I'm needing to use it as frequently, and I probably could just use another concealer in the meantime to cover up any blemishes. So I'm keeping hold of it till I use it, but this is one that I will then not repurchase. And this is my other staple, and it's the Collection Lasting Perfection. This is the one that I use under my eyes, and this was really good at getting rid of my under eye circles, but I've actually noticed recently that they are getting slightly darker than they used to be, so this isn't quite cutting it, and I think I might need to potentially colour correct under my eyes. I have read that peach is potentially the best for dark circles, so I have got another one of these in backup because I do still love it. So once this is used up, I will probably invest in a colour corrector to see if that helps with the dark under eye circles, but I will be keeping this one. And next we have the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define. I wasn't too keen on this, to be honest, and I don't know if it's because I maybe got too light of a shade. I got the shade C2 because I do tend to be sort of fairly light or fair in most other things, so I thought one would be too light, so I thought this might be a good one, but I do think it is a bit too light, and I don't like under my eyes to be overly bright, so I think I'm going to get rid of this one and I might give C3 a go. It's not a bad formula, it didn't overly crease on me. I think it was just that it was too bright and too light under my eyes, so I'm going to get rid of this one, but I think I will repurchase it in C3 because for the price it isn't a bad concealer, and if it stops me buying the Shape Tape, more the better. Then we have a couple of face powders. This is an e.l.f. face powder, which I can't remember what it's called, but it comes in a nice little compact with a little puff already with it, and I have this in my work bag just to kind of freshen myself up throughout the course of the day. I think I paid a £1.20 for this, and for that price it is pretty good. It can be a bit cakey, probably because I'm applying it with this, if you're not too careful, but overall it's not too bad, so I think I am going to keep hold of this. And then we have the e.l.f. HD Under Eye Powder. This stuff is brilliant. I never used to set my concealer under my eyes, but since I bought this I now set it every day, and I really rate this stuff, and it does make my concealer last that little bit longer, and I think this was only £2, but I will definitely be repurchasing this once this runs out. And then next we have this Essence Brighten Up Banana Powder. I only bought this the other week and I don't like it. It was only a few pounds, so I don't mind too much getting rid of it, but when I used it, I felt like it aged me, and I recently watched a video of Jessica Braun's and she said the exact same thing, so I'm glad I'm not going crazy and it isn't just me. But I just felt like it wasn't necessarily that it sort of settled in fine lines. I don't know what it did, it just aged me. So I think I'm going to pass this on to see if a friend might want this who's got a slightly different complexion to me, but this one's a no-go. Now on to bronzers. And I've put this into the bronzer pile, even though it does say it's a blush. I used to use this as a bronzer, which is a bit strange because it's like a brick red colour, but it does go on quite brown. But I haven't used it for a long time, so I just really need to stop clinging onto it and get rid of it out of my collection. Next we have the Benefit Hoola bronzer. And this is just a sample size, which I just don't seem to be making a dent in. I am using it quite a lot, and you can see there's a bit taken off the top there, but I don't seem to be making a dent in it. But I do really love this bronzer, and should this sample ever run out, I definitely will be purchasing the full size. Next we have this Rimmel Natural bronzer. And I purchased this when I was trying to go away from shimmery bronzers, as this doesn't have much shimmer in it, if at all. But it's not very pigmented and it's not very smooth to apply. You do kind of have to dig in the pan to get much payoff from it. So I think because I now have the Hoola bronzer, I'm going to pass this on because I just don't reach for it, but I've not used it an awful lot. And then we have this NYC Sun and Bronze, and this was what I used to use all the time when I was using a shimmery bronzer. You can see it is well used, but I just don't like shimmery bronzers anymore, so I'm probably going to bin this one because I think I've had it quite a while. It's probably past its sell by date kind of thing, so I'm going to get rid of this one. Then we have the newest bronzer to my collection, and it is the Tarte Park Avenue Princess. And this one, it's not shimmery, but it does have a slight glow to it. But I actually quite like it, considering I was trying to get away from shimmery bronzers. I think this has just the right amount. So if I'm not reaching for the Hoola bronzer, I'm reaching for this. And I feel like that's actually all I need in my collection. And it's great that they're both samples, but they seem to be lasting. I seem to be getting quite a lot of wear out of them. But both of these, I think I would happily buy the full size once they run out. Finally, on to blushes. The first one we have is this sample from Lord and Berry, and it is in the shade Lotus. And I have used this quite a lot, but I just don't find myself reaching for it anymore because I do have other blushes that I prefer a lot more, so I think I am going to get rid of this one now. Next we have this e.l.f. and this is one of their new primer infused blushes, and I have the shade Always Cheeky. This is the lightest of the shades, I think, and the next one up was Always Rosy, which I think is a really nice shade as well. And I don't really need any more blushes, but I might purchase that one because they're £7.50, and for that they are really good. And I actually rate them as highly as the Tarte ones, which you can see over there, for lasting power. And this one is a really nice neutral shade that is completely buildable, so really recommend these. Next we have this Freedom Pro Blush Palette. And this has 6 blusher shades, a highlighter, and then a kind of hybrid bronzer highlighter. I used to reach for this an awful lot until I got the Tarte Amazonian Clay blushes, so I just don't find myself reaching for this anymore, and it is quite bulky to have in my collection if I'm not going to reach for it, so I think I'm going to pass this on to a friend. And to be honest, out of the 6, I probably mainly only reach for these 2 anyway. I never really use them. That's, if you can see it catching light, that's a glittery blush, which was a bit chunky. This one was too bright, that one was too orange. I think I used that a couple of times, but I mainly used these 3, and I can probably just duplicate that in single blushes, which will be a lot smaller in my collection, so I'm going to pass this on. But the formula of them and quality of them is great, it's just I think the size and amount of products in the palette that I was using. Next we have this MAC Pinch a Peach blush, which to me is more pink than peach. This was the original high-end blusher that I bought and I used for years. You can see that it should just be able to see that it's actually got a dent in it because I used this for years. I would say I'd pass this on to a friend, but it's probably a little bit too old. So I think this probably needs to be thrown out because I've had it for such a long time, but it was a staple in my collection for so long. I am quite sentimental to it, but I just need to get rid of it, I think, because it is rather old. Next we have these two Tarte Amazonian clay. We have Ornate and Harmony. This is the original one that I got in I think it might have been the Precious Picks collection, and this is a really nice warm pink, and if you go on with a light hand it is completely buildable and it's a really nice shade, and I do love the formula of these. I've also had this a long time and I'm not even making a dent on it, so this is going to last me a good while before I need to purchase a full size one. And then my most recent purchase is this one in the shade Harmony, and this is more of a peachy, really light shade. I tend to reach for this in the day now, but again, a really nice shade that I am enjoying wearing. So I'm going to definitely keep both of these. And finally we have this Collection Speedy Blush. I was intrigued when I ordered this because I've never tried a stick blush before, and it's not bad and it doesn't tug on your skin like some stick blushes I know I've heard can do. But it does require quite a lot of blending to make a natural blush look, so I'm probably not going to reach for it, so I'm going to see if a friend wants that. So that is it for the face products. Let's see what we've got rid of. So that is the Keep pile, and I think I am going to keep this Revolution highlighter, to be honest, because I'm not keeping that many products out of all the ones that I had. So I think because it is brighter than the e.l.f. one, I am going to keep hold of it. And these are the products that I'm getting rid of. So I'm quite happy with that because I've at least halved my collection of face products. Okay, I'm getting rid of 13 and I'm keeping 13. Unlucky for some. Yes, okay, I am putting that back in a newer form, but still, I'm saying I've halved my collection. And so I'm quite happy with that declutter. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. Thanks.